What's up, guys? Welcome to the show today. On this Friday episode, we're going to be going over some players that I just personally think it is time to give up on. So if you haven't been to the channel before, welcome. I'm Sam. Thank you for tuning in. If you have 5 seconds, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and like the video. I've been having so much fun coming at you guys 3 times a week, and I cannot wait for the summer redraft season and the NFL to finally get here. So let's get it kicked off today. Some players that I just think it's time to sell, and I'm okay just getting them off my team because I do not believe it is in the cards for them. So first player today, we're going to go Quentin Johnston, wide receiver there for the Chargers. Pretty bad rookie season. It felt like he had every opportunity and everything go his way to kind of have a breakout rookie season. Keenan Allen missed some games. Mike Williams was out for the season. Josh Palmer was out for a stretch of time, and Quentin Johnston just could not make the most of it. I do love the coaching change in Los Angeles there for the Chargers, and I am a big Justin Herbert fan. I just do not think that Quentin Johnston is the guy that's going to get the value coming from that offense, and especially that passing offense. So here I'm saying a late second next year. I just want him off my team, and I want some capital that I can use to go make some other moves because I just think his value is going to keep falling. So I would gladly take any sort of second round pick in the next couple years for Quentin Johnston, QJ as we call him. Next up, probably a little more controversial, as people are kind of trying to think that this guy is going to take a step forward with Jerry Jeudy leaving. That's going to be Marvin Mims of the Broncos. But I'm saying here that I would take 210 this year for Marvin Mims. It's about where he went last year, maybe a little earlier. You know, this is kind of the range he was going in rookie drafts last year. And I just think historically, people that haven't had over 500-600 yards receiving as rookies have really tended not to do so well if we look at the past 5 years. Basically, the only guy in recent memory that really broke that trend was Davante Adams. But I don't really think comparing anyone to Davante Adams is a good thing. Nico Collins would be the other guy that came to mind who did finally have a breakout after a couple of years, but he got CJ Stroud. So those are really two very, very unique things that involved Aaron Rodgers and CJ Stroud, and that is not currently in the cards for Marvin Mims. And he has Jarrett Stidham as his QB. Maybe they trade for someone in the draft or trade up and try to draft a guy. But I'm taking 210 here for Marvin Mims, and I am just going to use that capital to draft another guy who I think has that rookie season to show a little flash that I'm looking for. Third guy, Jonathan Mingo. I'm taking 3-5. I do think Bryce Young has a chance to kind of take a step up this year. I like the coaching staff coming over from Tampa Bay. But as I spoke about in a previous video, I really do think Deontay Johnson is the guy I want in that wide receiver core. And Adam Thielen, man, he's old, but he's going to catch some balls. And they have a couple second-round picks, and I would expect them to use one for an offensive weapon. So I think Mingo may kind of just be the odd man out. And I didn't love what I saw last year. The only narrative was that he was the only guy there, and Thielen was the one that took advantage of that situation, not Jonathan Mingo. So 3-5, I would gladly take for Mingo here and just take a stab on a different wide receiver in this draft. Or maybe one of the running backs falls down to 3-5. This is a very deep mid-second to late third kind of draft, or it seems to be before we know landing spot. So I don't hate having some of these picks and taking stabs on guys that could potentially turn into something that I just do not personally feel is in the cards for Jonathan Mingo. Next one, Treylon Burks. He is not a second-year wideout, but a third-year one. And 26 second, if you can get that for Treylon Burks, man, probably going to be tough at this point. I'm just going off the KTC ranks here. Just as a general consensus that I know a lot of people do at least look at. I'm not saying it's the Bible by any means, but I do think it's a good starting point. But 26 late second for Treylon Burks, I'm taking it. Hopkins is there. Ridley's there. Watch him take another wide receiver in the draft, and I just don't think Treylon Burks is going to be something. He has a lot of talent potentially, but potentially. You know, a lot of people have a lot of talent potentially. If I was 6'4" and could run fast, I'd have a lot of talent. Potentially, right? It doesn't mean I'm going to be an NFL wide receiver. And he's just pretty far down on that depth chart, and a team that I'm not even sure can support Ridley and Hopkins yet. We'll see what they look like. But adding a third guy on there and then maybe someone in the draft, and they're probably going to run the ball, and it just doesn't seem to be a bet I'd be willing to make. And I would take a late second. I would take a third round pick in this year's class for Treylon Burks and just take another stab, like I've kind of said earlier in this video. Another guy here, Cedric Tillman. I said I would take 4-4. He was kind of like a third-round pick last year, but, Elijah Moore's there. Then they make the big trade for Jerry Jeudy. Big as in the contract, not the capital they gave up to go get him. Obviously, Amari Cooper is still there. David Njoku. Those are the three guys in order. I probably want Njoku, Amari Cooper, then Jerry Jeudy. And then Tillman just is not really going to be on the field much. He's not going to be one of those X wide receivers out wide. And imagine Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy split the slot roll up, or maybe it's just Elijah Moore. So I don't really see this working out for Cedric Tillman. And if you can get a 4th-round pick for someone that maybe still believes in him, I think you just take it. And that's kind of what I'm saying and is the point of this video. Sometimes it is better just to cut bait, get some draft capital, and use that to go get a player that you believe more in than some of these guys who kind of had bad rookie and or sophomore seasons, just because there really are only a few outliers that have ever shown that sort of career archetype works out. And that is Devontae Adams, Nico Collins. And I'm not really in the business for comparing people to outliers when it comes to Dynasty Fantasy Football. So thank you guys for tuning in for this Friday episode. Players I just do not want on my team anymore, and I will take what I can get for them. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. I really appreciate it. And you guys have a good weekend. Peace, guys.